So I moved up the coastline to this area called Matagorda, and I chose to take the site that was off the ocean, even though the ocean site was actually like nicer and everything, because I didn't want that condensation. So I went up to this park called FM 521 Park, which is sort of right by a highway, almost again more like a city park. Again, Lower Colorado River Authority is the body of the organization that governs that, as well as the one by Lake Travis and Lake Buchanan that I stayed at. But this is a different section of the Colorado River. And it's not the Colorado River that actually exists in Colorado and California. It's like a Texas Colorado River. It's much smaller. Anyway, I get this FM 21 site, and right away I asked people, I'm like, do I got to worry about alligators or hogs, anything like that? They're like, yep. And I was like, okay, this is great. So I set up my tent kind of like on a field thing by a backstop, so that I could kind of like open my tent up so the condensation, if it happened, wouldn't come in. And that place, again, like it was like 15 miles from the ocean. It wasn't the ocean, but total condensation in the morning. There's this crazy conspiracy theorist guy there, and he talked me off. He was hilarious. There's like these runaway cats, raccoons, and in all of this area there was these like crazy red wasps too. I'll show you some footage of that. Those were scary dudes. Red wasps with like purple wings, and they're giant, like twice as big as our wasps back home. Insane. Anyway, so I was at this spot, and then like the first full day I was there, I went down to the ocean, the Matagorda one, and walked along the beach again, and then kind of went to the backcountry marshlands behind. And that was really cool. And by that time, the conspiracy theorist dude had like left. But then the last day I was there, he like came back or something like that. It was cool. It was cool to hang with him. He was just really like you think I'm talking fast? He didn't talk nearly as fast, but just persistent and going on about this like Nicera stuff and how like Obama and all the presidents are in on this crazy. I don't know. It was nuts, and aliens and just things, whatever. Right? Bigfoot, whatever. You know, I'm not kidding either. So it was kind of interesting, but it was kind of cool too. Like whatever. So that was FM 21. So then I left there and went up a little further. Up the coast, sort of closer to Houston, to this spot called Hollywood Bottom, which I know has a very curious name, but of the adult film type genre of a certain orientation that maybe I'm not part of. But anyway, Hollywood Bottom. So I stayed there, and that was cool. Again, like a city park near El Campo. It's totally hidden back road. You just take this long road in, camp there. And that one I was actually really stressed over alligators because, like, FM 521, the river was higher, but I camped away from it. There were these crazy barges that came down the river at FM 521 as well, so hopefully I get just some footage that like looked like military type stuff, like crazy. But in general, got to Hollywood Bottom and the river was low. It was almost like Lake Travis again. So there were fire ants, like old Fat Man Adventures blogspot had told me about. So I was like, I'm not going to camp on the grass. I'm going to camp on the beach. But I was still stressed over alligators, man. And at that place, I was like, you know, sleeping like again, like one eye open, just like I mean, hogs I guess kind of scare me. I saw some hog footprints at various places. I'll probably show you some video of that. But I was like actually thinking there was alligators at this spot, Hollywood Bottom, and like I was just scared they're gonna come up and get me. And I don't know, no, they didn't. Obviously, limbs are attached, but yeah, man, stressed there for that. But it was cool. No one was there the whole time. First day I walked the road all the way out. It's kind of a crappy day. Next day I went for a run. That was awesome. And then that night, my last night, the Friday night, these kids from El Campo came out. There was like one who was like 23, one who was like 26, and then the sister of the 23-year-old guy who ended up being like this total Mexican gangster who was on probation. And they're all like smoking weed or whatever, right? And one big guy, 6'5" or whatever, comes over to me. He's like, "Hey man, where are you from?" And I'm like, "Oh, Canada," whatever. And so I was talking to these kids for like 2 hours, maybe more. It was like crazy. And it was really cool, like just like kicking it with them. No, I didn't smoke any weed or drink any alcohol. They offered it up. It's kind of, I had to explain that to them or whatever. It was cool. But yeah, it was just great. Total different culture, man. Like, El Campo's like a small backwoods like town. These kids are like, but really cool, man. It was just this really cool vibe. I loved it. So that was Friday night at Hollywood Bottom. And I made it out without getting attacked by an alligator. And then I headed up to Houston to stay a night there because I guess the weather kind of turned. So that was my longest stretch. I think I was on the road for like 11 nights without going to a hotel.